Welcome to the deep dive. Today, we are pulling back the curtain on the technology that powers this whole hyper-specialized streaming universe. We spend so much time talking about the big consumer giants, Netflix, Disney Plus, Max. But the real action, I think, is often in the architecture that lets anyone build something just as robust.
That's exactly right. And
Yeah.
our sources today, they're fascinating because they're just so dense with specifics. We're talking product architecture, feature lists, and some really deep case studies, all centered around a platform called Muvi One.
So we're not just looking at, like, simple file hosting.
Oh, not at all. This is the full enterprise-grade suite you'd need for really complex, large-scale content delivery. It's the difference between building a shed and building a skyscraper.
Right. So our mission for this deep dive is to really dissect this modern architecture.
Yeah.
We want to understand what makes it tick, what makes it capable of competing, and we're going to zoom in on two sort of major pillars. First, this cutting-edge, streaming-focused AI engine. And second, the tools they're using to perfectly replicate the rhythm and structure of traditional linear television.
That old-school TV feel, but in the cloud.
Exactly. We're looking for those aha moments that show just how specialized this all has become.
So if we start with the foundational scope, the first thing that just hits you is the sheer ambition of it all. This isn't a platform just trying to be a video-on-demand service.
No.
It explicitly positions itself as being able to build services that are comparable to these huge niche players. Think like Udemy for e-learning or Audible for audio, all alongside a full Netflix-style VOD library.
Okay, let's unpack that scale for a second. Because if you're trying to cater to that massive range of use cases, you need a sprawling toolkit. Right. What are the core product types you even need for that?
You need total flexibility. So, naturally they offer the standard video-on-demand, VOD, and audio-on-demand, AOD. But then you start layering things.
Right.
You add in robust live streaming, and then, and this is crucial, cloud playout software.
Cloud Playout, that's the key, isn't it? That allows users to schedule and run, like real linear TV and fast channels.
Exactly. Free ad-supported streaming television. It's basically simulating a traditional broadcast feed, but it's all happening in the cloud.
So Cloud Playout, that sounds like the modern version of a master control room where you're queuing up commercials, the show itself, but it's all virtual.
It's precisely that. It's your virtual tape deck and broadcast switcher, all in one. And the market that's using this tool set just confirms how broad the applications are. You see the ones you'd expect: media, sports, education.
Sure, film festivals.
Right. But then the source material points to these really niche sectors.
Like judiciary, finance, government, telcos. That stops you in your tracks for a moment. Why does a judicial organization need a streaming solution on par with a global media company?
Well, it connects directly to the need for secure, professional, and compliant communication, both internal and external.
Okay, so give me an example.
Think about a huge finance firm that needs to deliver proprietary training to thousands of employees across, say, 50 countries, or government agencies needing highly secure, DRM-enabled delivery of sensitive briefings.
Right. They need the same robustness and security as a Hollywood studio, but maybe with even stricter compliance rules.
Exactly.
That completely reframes the context. And if you're launching services for those kinds of global organizations, then cross-device consistency becomes, it moves from a nice-to-have to absolutely critical.
Oh, it's everything. I mean, the complexity of device fragmentation is probably one of the biggest technical challenges in the whole industry. Every single operating system has its own quirks.
From iOS to Samsung's Tizen to Roku.
All of them.
Yeah.
And to deal with this, the list of supported devices is just massive. And it's a huge selling point in their case studies.
Let's just run through that list because it's a perfect example of platform coverage. You've got the essentials: web, desktop, iOS, Android, but then you get into that really fragmented smart TV world.
Yeah, you have your Roku TV, Android TV, Apple TV, Samsung, Fire TV, LG.
Yeah.
The usual suspects.
Yeah.
But then you look deeper. You see VEWD TV, VOS TV, Astra TV.
Platforms most people haven't even heard of.
Right. And they're often overlooked by smaller builders, but they're essential if you want that broad market penetration.
Yeah.
Getting a consistent, high-quality user experience across every single one of those is a huge architectural feat.
They're making sure the experience is identical, whether you're on the newest iPhone or some obscure smart TV from 3 years ago. That technical commitment is it's expensive and it's complicated.
And it goes further. It extends to gaming and casting. PlayStation, XBOX, Chromecast, AirPlay. They even have support for the Apple Watch. They're basically trying to eliminate the platform as a point of failure for the content owner.
Okay, let's move to the future. This is where the architecture gets really fascinating. Artificial intelligence. So the platform has this engine called Ailey AI, and they're promoting it as the world's first streaming-focused AI engine. Big claim. So what does that mean in practice? What are the specific streaming-centric pain points this is supposed to target?
Well, you have to look at the massive operational headaches that content teams are always facing. The first one is compliance.
Yeah.
If you're running a global service, you are constantly trying to adhere to this web of changing regional regulations about content, display rules, legal mandates. It's a nightmare. So AI automates those regulation checks and edits. They claim one-click fixes.
But does automating compliance risk missing some of the, the subtle region-specific editorial issues that maybe only a human editor would catch? Or is the AI just handling the sheer volume of base-level stuff?
It seems to be focused on that volume. It's there to handle the base layer of general video compliance and flag issues instantly. And the reduction in legal and editorial overhead is just immense.
I can imagine.
I mean, if you have 10,000 hours of video and you save just 5 minutes of human review time per asset, that adds up to months of operational savings.
That's a staggering efficiency gain. And related to that, I imagine, is metadata, the content cataloger's nightmare.
Oh, it absolutely is. Your metadata, the titles, descriptions, tags, cast lists, that's what makes your content discoverable. It's tedious to enter, it's often inconsistent, so the AI just solves this. It smart fills everything.
So make sure your content isn't just sitting there, it's actually searchable and categorized properly.
Exactly. It solves a huge management bottleneck for anyone with a large library.
Okay, now let's talk about scaling across borders. Because reaching a global audience is useless if the localization costs are going to bankrupt you. What's the AI doing there?
This might be the single biggest strategic move for content distribution. So AI auto-generates subtitles in the primary language.
Right.
It's pretty standard now.
Right.
But then it offers instant translation of those subtitles into over 75 languages.
75, wow.
Suddenly, your entire content library is accessible to the vast majority of the global population, basically instantly.
That just changes the cost equation completely. You get instant access to 75 markets with almost no investment in human translation.
And they take it a step further with AI dubbing.
Yeah.
So moving beyond just text, the AI can actually dub the videos into the target languages. Now, AI dubbing is still a developing technology, but integrating it right into the core platform streamlines that global rollout. It becomes a turnkey operation instead of this logistical nightmare of hiring external studios and voice actors.
That covers the operational backend.
Right.
What about the user-facing tools? How does the AI improve the actual viewing experience? I mean, sophisticated recommendations are a given, but what's genuinely new here?
The innovation is really in two areas.
Yeah.
Content structuring and content interaction. For structuring, they use something called AI chaptering.
Okay.
So it splits long video or audio files into searchable structured chapters. Think of a 4-hour lecture or a 3-hour documentary.
Making those marathon pieces digestible.
Yeah. Exactly. And then there's AI clips, which automatically creates these short, high-impact clips, reels, social snippets. It turns your long-form assets into short-form marketing material with a single click.
And finally, that futuristic element you mentioned earlier, chat with video. What does that actually look like in practice?
It's pretty wild. It lets the user engage with the content like it's a conversational partner. So if you're watching a technical training video, you could ask it, what were the 3 key steps discussed in the second half?
Wow.
Or if you're watching a documentary, you could ask the video to summarize a particular person's actions across several scenes. It completely revolutionizes how you consume educational content. It turns passive viewing into active learning.
That ability to just ask the video questions, that is genuinely transformative for fields like corporate training, compliance, education.
It shifts the whole experience from leaning back to leaning forward.
That is a perfect segue. Let's step away from the purer features and look at how this whole modular architecture supports a truly hybrid delivery model. We mentioned replicating traditional TV. Let's dive into this VybeStream case study. Their goal was moving from cable to cloud.
Right. So VybeStream, they recognize that while VODEP is popular, a lot of viewers still crave the comfort and the curated simplicity of a schedule.
Yeah.
Their challenge was delivering that seamless traditional TV experience channel lineups, fixed air times, but with the flexibility of internet streaming.
So their goal wasn't just to host video, it was to recreate the feeling of turning on your TV and just seeing a schedule. They wanted that lean-back viewing, not endless searching.
Precisely. And that requires the core technology we talked about earlier, the EPG, the Electronic Program Guide, which has to be tightly integrated with that cloud playout software.
So if the cloud playout is the engine running the schedule, the EPG is the user interface, the dashboard that lets the viewer navigate it.
That is the perfect analogy. The EPG is the visual map. The end user opens the app, they see a grid with daily and weekly lineups, complete with time slots. They just scroll, select a time, just like legacy cable TV.
And behind the scenes, VybeStream can schedule live events, reruns, block programming.
All of it. And the Muvi system manages the synchronization between that playlist, the encoding, and the final delivery. It all just works.
That level of synchronization is incredibly complex, especially when you're dealing with, live ad insertion and that precise timing. What was the strategic advantage for VybeStream to do it this way?
Monetization and stickiness. When you establish that fixed rhythm, you create viewing habits, you create routine, and it also unlocks monetization that mimics broadcast models.
Right, you can align scheduled content with ad breaks and promotions.
But you're doing it with digital precision. So they got a massive scalability while keeping this tight control over subscriptions, vouchers, and content placement. They could optimize revenue using both digital and traditional models.
It's the ultimate hybrid. It's the structure of 1980s cable TV delivered with the precision and reach of 2025 technology.
And that modularity is the real takeaway here. Because if you contrast VybeStream, this complex linear service, with another customer they mentioned, the Chilling app, which is just a horror-exclusive VOD library.
A completely different model.
Totally different. But you see the platform's flexibility. It can handle the most complex, synchronized, scheduled content and simple, purely on-demand niche content, all from the same core architecture.
So if we connect all this to the bigger picture, what really stands out is this move away from the idea that you have to be a technical giant to offer a robust, specialized service. This is really the democratization of broadcast infrastructure.
Absolutely. Knowledge is most valuable when you apply it. And this shows content owners applying that knowledge to control the exact experience.
Yeah.
But that control requires stability and security.
Right, which is where the customer feedback is so important. Let's talk security, because the sources highlight this as non-negotiable. The CEO of Iroka Partners called the platform very robust and an all-rounder solution.
And for protecting high-value assets, the feature that Indica Film Utsav highlighted is critical. DRM-enabled, digital rights management. This isn't just a password.
No.
It's a specialized encryption and license mechanism designed specifically to stop piracy.
So if I'm on a DRM-enabled platform and I try to screen record something, what happens?
The player is designed to prevent it at the operating system level. The screen just goes black. It protects content from being downloaded, screen scraped, screen shared.
Yeah.
Basically, it encrypts the video stream and only authorized players with the right license keys can decode it.
For film festivals and exclusive distributors, that's mission critical.
It's everything for maintaining exclusivity.
So let's recap the two biggest takeaways here for you, the learner. First is that global efficiency you get through AI.
Yeah, the power of AI to standardize all those tedious compliance and metadata tasks, and crucially, to instantly translate subtitles and even start dubbing into over 75 languages. That immediate access to new global markets, that is a strategic game changer.
And second, it's that powerful merging of old and new.
It's the ability of that EPG technology and the cloud playout to merge the familiar, scheduled, structured rhythm of traditional broadcast TV with the scalability and monetization control of digital streaming. It proves that, evolution doesn't always mean abandoning familiar structures.
So we've seen this integrated architecture that can handle live, VOD, audio, linear scheduling, global translation, and DRM security, all in one cohesive environment.
Which really raises an important question for you to consider. If this kind of specialized technology now lets any content creator perfectly replicate the structure and rhythm of traditional broadcast television using tools like EPG and Playout, while also integrating cutting-edge AI features like content chat and auto-dubbing. What even is the ultimate definition of cable TV versus streaming in the coming years?
That's a great question.
What micro-broadcast structures, maybe very localized news or niche hobby channels, what will be the next tack to migrate entirely to the cloud using these exact modular tools, something for you to mull over?
That was our deep dive into modern streaming architecture. Until next time, stay curious.